Today we are venturing into a new book, which is yet to come, and very glad to read for the first time before anyone else would start to read. So, without delaying, I would share the screen now and let us discuss the book. I made it kind of a presentation so that it would be easy for us to look into rather than PDF. So, yeah, so Duality was over. That's the title, and written by Craig. So I met Craig. It was during one of the meetup events, and very fortunate, I would say, because he always hesitated to share anything with everyone, and he is very specific about to whom he is sharing things, and um, based on the experiences he had, I think not everyone could accept the things, whatever he spoke. So for him, it was a concern, and he was very sure about sharing these things with me because he felt whatever he does that intuitively rather than interpreting in his logical mind. So that is when the thing started, and we had a lot of conversations about all his wonderful spiritual, physical experiences. And now we got the book, and we will see what it is about and how it's going to help us. And this is what he was mentioning when he wanted to share the book with me. He told it would really help a lot of people to in some way. Even I'm curious to go through the entire book, and let us dig into it further. So the first chapter, the nonsense of me. Yeah. Duality was over. The collapse of the constructed mind followed the experience. How did I get myself to a place where everything I had learned over 50 years was shown to be nothing more than someone else's idea on how life should be lived and experienced? Trauma, suffering, and lack of awareness had created a very anxious man. Outwardly, I played the game, and my acting was very convincing. I looked successful and had more than enough money to live a comfortable life with all its gadgets, fads, and holidays. The idea of gaining something or trying out a new experience was the go-to place for me and most people, I expect. Or was it a change of consciousness that I was after, and did so through the use of alcohol or drugs? I am in a very different place mentally these days. So he was trying to explain to us how he used to be before, and now we would look further into the after effect. So my circumstances have not changed, just my use of thoughts and how they are constructed. Most people, I imagine, believe what goes on in their head and personal and belongs to them, whether they are thoughts or one of happiness or the complete opposite, and so did I. Wow, what a mistake we all make. Easy now for me to look at the mind and see it for what it is, but for the majority of my life, I lived with collective notions about life and their past conditioning. These thought patterns that I and the majority live by had created a belief that I was making my own choices. But in truth, this was nothing of the sort. The outdated patterns of thought that I used to belong to the past. So, the life that we are living till now is nothing else but whatever we think, isn't it? So, all our thoughts are making who we are. And if that is going to be the case, what this thought is made out of? And that is what Craig is discussing here about. I feel like they are all constructed based on the past beliefs and maybe our parents and the society with where we are living currently. So we are nothing but accumulation of the past, isn't it? Okay, so let me further start it. I was creating my current life from a stream of thoughts that belong to past generations with all their negative or positive conditioning that came with them without ever looking at why. You could say, I believed in this collective conditioning, not knowing I had inherited its mantras from my parents, teachers, and other various means, and were using them on a daily basis. I had never given any thought about how my character was constructed. Unaware of this conditioning placed upon the child like invisible leg irons from some grim past. I suppose it is understandable when you have no idea that there are universal laws that govern every aspect of being. These ancient universal laws are no more than four and create the fabric of our existence. Yet they are not taught in school or by our parents, mother, and father. If you are lucky enough to have both teach their mantra on life and how it should be lived by their actions, not just their words. So if I understood properly, correct me also if I am making any mistakes. So Craig was trying to say that we simply live out of some basic whatever unconscious way of living rather than the living the real universal law, which is the basic aspect for this life itself, and nowhere we are getting the teaching of it, and the dualistic nature. Okay, I will start now. The dualistic nature of the personal mind is constructed from past beliefs. Parental patterns passed down the family tree over many generations, and these can be loving or chaotic. We carry around in psyche generational misunderstandings inherited into our conscious awareness that rebirth outdated ideas on how life should be lived. Eastern philosophies call this karma, but really a cyclic nature of dual thinking, an invisible blueprint for the new birth. When building any construction in this physical world, we need a plan for the architect to show to his clients. If his ideas are accepted, they are carried out without question for the most part. The deceitful enterprises of a certain priestly sect long ago provided the base for this misguiding information most endure to this day. Those deceitful powers of past generations are now coming to light. The information readily available for those who wish to shout, point fingers, and generally blame for their demise, but not I. I have always struggled to ask for help or directions, and when younger, I suffered because of this. In fact, right up to this moment, I prefer to find my own way. No longer suffering, peace is mine, and no thought of any other can upset the balanced entity that I am. My previous life was loud and hurtful, now peaceful and quiet. I live within the same circumstances, the same family members, but I cannot say friends because they are few and rarely seen. They left with the thoughts I used to adhere to, so my life outwardly has not changed because the change is inside and immeasurable, but not obvious others other than the lack of friends. Is this a condition of what many call enlightenment to lose those around you? The spiritual books will tell you it is a lonely path. But to be honest, I have been alone my whole life, whether with family or in friendly settings. I do not feel alone, far from it. I am engaging constantly, but now the sound has been turned down and silence is the communication I use. This is so difficult for those with a conditioned mind to grasp. So I never go out of my way to give advice with their outdated personal philosophy on life. Those misinterpretations created in the past will eventually lead them to the heart of understanding. I was not placed here to teach. I have met mediums on my travels who claim to see me on stage speaking this truth. So now it is getting more and more interesting, isn't it? The mediums and the power of silence through which he is communicating these days. Uh, Seems like the mediums have seen him speaking about this truth on the stage. This truth I speak is difficult to express in words, but my actions gave it away all day long. The stage the mediums see is the play of life, and on this stage there is little use for words because I walk my truth all the day long. Words are solid or a solid form of communication. Frozen thoughts, once spoken that lose their flow, becoming static and stale. A few years ago, this was my intention to give what I have received, but as time has gone on and the recognition of who and what or not has been realized, it seems nonsensical. Yes, laughable. Because knowing what I know and trying to explain my experiences on an intellectual level is not it. No matter what I speak, I cannot give you what you search for because you already have it. If you are open to the knowledge contained with these pages, you will understand why you believe you haven't. So he couldn't put the things into words, but because what all he experienced is something that we always have, and it's nothing new, yet it is something to be discovered, let's say. Yeah. So this is gonna be the second chapter, and before going into that, let me stop for today. Um, yeah, so that is about um, Craig's book. So so far, what I understood is he went through some sort of strange experience, after which his life has changed. That's what he's mentioning, and um, the way how he used to see the life before and after has tremendously started changing, and um, and he's also trying to convey to us that so far, whatever the life that we live, thinking that this is uh, truth, but it's not. So this is the overall understanding that I have as of now. If you guys want to share anything else, feel free. Thank you.
In fact, very interesting topic. Yet another interesting topic. Plus, this I've been thinking about this changes, experiencing changes in life, especially after what you've been conditioned from childhood by your parents. So the concept is social conditioning. நான் படிச்சிருக்கேன். But I never thought anybody actually wrote about this, which makes it even more interesting for me. My question would be, whatever he says. In fact, I myself have experienced ever since coming overseas. To give you some context, I never lived alone ever until I came to the UK, and I can see a lot of the safeguards and a lot of the conditioning my parents did in raising me. It's very visible when I do certain things and my friends do it differently. But what I'm curious to know is, what did Craig have to go through to realize this?
Oh yeah, I think he will share that in the upcoming chapters.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, that's for sure. When he was sharing certain things with me, person, obviously he told me a lot. But yeah, those are gonna come in the upcoming chapters.
Mm.
Let's wait and see. So the first chapter is like immediately. I think he has put directly without going slowly. I would say, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, let's see. Like it's kind of let's say in the movie, you will the starting scene is like kind of something to catch you, start to making you to be focused and curious for the upcoming thing.
Yes, in fact. Plus, I wanted to ask, if is this book available as a PDF copy online for purchase?
Oh, not yet. It's released officially.
Mm.
And that's the reason why Craig asked us to give it a look, and in case if there are any things to be changed or something that we feel profoundly okay, this could have been done like this or things like that. So feel free. I am gonna also share whatever we speak now to him, so that he would think of it in that way, and he would try to see whatever he wants to make.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's the idea.
Okay.
But yeah, wonderful sharing that whatever you said about the work conditioning and the way. So I think we are all gonna have a wonderful time ahead for the next. Maybe it would go for 24, 30 days,
In the
probably.
in the topic, especially before I let the others add, it's just that it hits me differently because growing up in Indian culture, especially Indian diaspora, you know that one of the societies you in the world, eh, when comparing every other society, societies from South Asia, India, Pakistan, and the Middle East condition their children the most in terms of restrictions, in terms of rules, ethics, and all that. So, growing up in the diaspora, I did also get a lot of this constraining factors, rules, and restrictions that my parents learn from their parents, and their parents learn from their parents. So, it gets passed down. So it's actually very important that we as a whole talk about this, because in this session, all of us are from Indian backgrounds, Indian heritage, so similar ways of upbringing. And the fact that we are talking about this, I think, is truly doing it justice, because we come from backgrounds where we are being social conditioned the most. In terms, if you compare the societies around the world, I'm sure India will have to be, or Indian culture has to be one of the top when it comes to this.
Obviously, wonderfully said, Muthu. Yeah, thanks for bringing that into picture. Um, Correct. I don't know if Craig was born in India. I think he would have got his spiritual experiences way back, maybe maybe 40, 50 years before itself. And isn't
Yeah,
it?
in no way am I saying that this is wrong or something, but in terms of rules and restrictions that the parents placed on us, especially when it comes to our culture, Indian culture, is definitely at a next level.
That's true. That's true. To be honest, yeah, I've never seen such kind of conditioning, like how you have to be, how you should not be. All the things we've been kept on getting as a piece of advice from our parents. Like if you go to someone else's place, you should not get and eat anything, or uh, lots and lots right from childhood, isn't it?
Amma.
Yeah, yeah, beautiful. Thank you. Yes, Gina, I think you want to share something.
Yes, I want to share something. For me, this book is pretty interesting because so all these years, like Mutta mentioned, we're all being conditioned to think in certain ways. Our parents have put us some restrictions, or they've given us their belief, and it's been passed on from ancestral, cultural, or ancestral, cultural, and ethnical belief, and it's passed on, and all the generational trauma or ways of thinking, belief system has been passed on to the next generation, and it's very, very hard to break that system that's already there in place, and especially coming from a South Asian background. But saying that, for me personally, the very few slides that you just read out, for me is kind of transformational, because what he's going through in his book, it's what I'm going through in my personal life, in a way, because I mean, I put that, my situation with losing my job, going through a very hard time the last 2 years, trying to get back on my feet. It's been very difficult. And then I've found, this Tamil Spiritual Society, this group, and I got invited in Birmingham to go and attend the Buddha Purnima. And then now I'm doing the spiritual tablet. I'm doing module 3 exams coming up soon. So everything that he's mentioned on the slides is kind of reinforcing what I've been learning on the spiritual tablet, and the different books that I've been reading from Joe Dispenza, the Power of Being Supernatural. So all of these, I've been reading that book, and it's talking about changing the limiting belief, connecting to the universal law, connecting to the oneself, connecting to universal field, expanding your energy, meditating, and changing your DNA, your genes, the composition of your body, so that you can start to expand and being one with the universe. So all of the things that I've been learning the last couple of weeks and months, and spiritual tablets, and attending the meditation session, you would feel the way you feel. He would feel the way he feels, because he's changing as a being, you know, and it's very normal. You will lose friends. You will become more silent. You will start looking inwards, because you're vibrating in the higher frequency. And most gurus and teachers and Jesus, they were all like that. When you start connecting to the one self, and you start seeking the truth, you start going inwards, and you start to read the truth, and you start acquiring all this knowledge and wisdom that's been you know, hidden away from public eyes. And then you start seeking all that information, you start gaining it back, and you will see all these object signs for the universe telling you all these signs. You would feel the way he would feel. And this book is a reflection of his own inner transformation. And yeah, that's my take. Yeah.
Oh, beautifully shared your ideas, Gina.
Yeah.
Yeah, That's true. Whatever we all are undergoing, I think
Yeah.
we can relate with this book, isn't it? And
Yeah.
it, yeah, thank you, Lina.
You're
Uh,
welcome.
yeah, bro. Just like the first page was like when starting with the first page, I felt like everyone go through this. That is like as Muthu said, as Gina said, getting conditioned by our parents and by our society. One of the things is uh, during our very initial stages of life, during our childhood, we build up some of the morality, what we are preached or what we have been taught by our parents, by our teachers, and everyone. And at one point, we would feel like to stand up and rebel against those things which we feel out of the moral values which we have learned. Something is not working out for us, or something is different from what we accepted. So probably that's the place we change, or that's the point we start thinking whether we should follow or not. But whatever we have been taught from childhood, almost like most of the things, 70 to 80 percentage, we tend to follow throughout our life. So that is one of the interesting thing which he was like pointing out, how we are uh, getting our thought process done. That is what I understand from those pages. And when we think out of it, we would have some other thoughts, or like some other path, the consciousness, whatever the medium here has witnessed those things. And like what I feel is most of us are not original thinkers. We are all like copy of others. I might be having like copy of what my father is, like 40 to 50 percentage, what my mother has like 40 to 50 percentage, my surroundings, these things. They're like hardly we find like very few people who are original thinkers, who are originally come out of uh, their mind and speak something different, think something different, apart from what others think, other people thinks, or what others. So yeah, when going through the slides and things, I could put myself in the place and see. I think is like we also should try to see how other people would be in that place. Yeah, but overall it is like quite interesting topics. Although every one of us would go through these phases of life and these things, uh, I hardly gone through any of those books which has written, or which has described these things. Quite wonderful book. Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much. And I think from what all you all guys said, and I understood is like we are able to relate properly. Like we are. It is in this book. I think I am not able to see anything that is something from the other world. Let's say it's there. It's now. It's here. We are all experiencing, and it's we are quite fortunate. That's what I would say. And let's see further in the upcoming sessions to see what else are there inside. Of course, I think it is going to have a lot of deep and profound content. And before that, maybe I would also suggest you guys to go through the PDF that I share. And maybe in that case, we can also think of instead of maybe going through the book, maybe we can also join and just have the session for discussion. It would also be good, I think. So how do you guys feel? So we can also take it that way. But yeah, I'm just felt like saying that. So yeah, so we have, as Muthu was asking if this book is already there, but yeah, we have the PDF. still, so which I have already put in the group. So feel free to go into the PDF and see. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, Matu. Thanks everyone for your beautiful sharing. And with this, I think today we can end the session. And I wish you all to have a wonderful good night. Thank you.
Good night.